So first off, isn't she awesome? So I'm going to tell you a couple things. First off, being a pediatrician so does not guarantee you being a cool parent. I've sat on her couch doing my own therapy sessions. That's why she's part of our practice, and I know she has her private practice too, but I'm like, it all started when I was 3. And then I go on to tell her how my 9-year-old is pushing buttons I didn't even think I had. I was a camp counselor and a lifeguard and a swimming instructor. I thought parenting, I'm going to be down there saying, yay, how'd school go today? What do you want to be when you grow up? And nothing, Now, what was the best thing that happened? Recess. So, and then, she's so awesome. I'm like, you must be the best. She's like, no, my kids, it doesn't. It only works when I talk to other people, right?
So I will tell you, dropping my son off at college, and I was saying, we were sort of talking about the fact that he wasn't a kid who had a lot of temper tantrums. But I did have to remind him that he used to say to me, you're a mean old woman. He said, oh, I didn't say that. I said, oh, yes, you did. You're a mean old woman.
So you guys, first off, have great questions. Unfortunately, of course, we're not going to get through all of them, but a lot of them have similarities. We'll try and categorize them and answer them as they go along. I get to handle the more bare bones pediatric medicine side because, that's why I'm here. And I'll let her handle all the developmental parenting stuff that I can't handle, which is a lot. So, and Camp Hill, I see you guys out there. Hopefully we can get some of your questions coming up here as well. So I'm going to handle, since this is one of the issues near and dear to my heart, sleep. So the first one is, how to get my infant sleeping, when do I start a sleep schedule? I had a couple other questions on there saying my 2-year-old's not sleeping well, what can I do? There are also questions about the 5- and 6-year-old crawling back into bed. I'll answer a little bit of that and then I'll turf that over to Diana. So first off, I'm going to give you my thinking on sleep. When you talk about nature and nurture, there is something definitely there. Who here is a night owl? Who can be up till 2 in the morning and do pretty well the next day? Okay, now who here wakes up at 6 in the morning bright-eyed and ready to roll? Okay, you guys are called morning larks, right? So morning larks are genetically those people that pop up and they're ready to start the day. That's my wife, okay? I'm a night owl, so I can be up till 2 or 3 in the morning, but I don't operate too well until 7, 8, 9, then I'm really starting to function. That's genetics, that's nature. Your kids, some of them are going to get the genes where they're up and ready to roll at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. And some of your kids are going to be grumpy and don't want to roll out of bed until 9. And that's my one son who I'm like, please go to the bed. The school bus is coming. I have to move the clocks up. I'm doing all the things I probably shouldn't be doing. I'll have another session here. But I do want to tell you my thoughts on sleep and pediatrics. Unfortunately, pediatricians and medical students are not trained in sleep very much. If you've asked your pediatrician about sleep, they're like, just to have a good routine and get them sleep through it. It's because they don't know what to do either. So I went to sleep school to learn about sleep in adults and in kids. And what I can tell you is that there's a nurture part to sleep. I think it's absolutely imperative that as parents we have some structure to the sleep routine. If you've been listening to the radio, there have been a lot of reports now coming out about sleep and behavior, sleep and weight gain, sleep and general health. They show that kids that have, and adults that have good sleep, and sleep patterns that deliver for kids at least 10 hours do a lot better in several different categories. How do you achieve that? Well, there's a wide range of parenting philosophies on sleep. At one end of the continuum is Dr. Ferber, the cry it out guy they call him. Actually, I kind of do something along those lines. I don't really call it the cry it out, but I call him the let the kid learn self-settling techniques at an earlier age. And then there's the other end of the continuum, which is Dr. Sears, the older Dr. Sears, who talks about attachment parenting and co-sleeping, and he's a big breastfeeding advocate. His wife's a lactation consultant. I happen to be a lactation consultant, so I support breastfeeding. And it doesn't mean that you have to, but if you do, it doesn't mean that sleep has to always occur in co-sleeping. And we talk about different patterns. Co-sleeping in the world is actually probably the norm, but in the US we talk about that really not being recommended per the American Academy of Pediatrics. My summary here would be that I think it's important that we teach children a sleep pattern and a sleep routine where they gain confidence and security in going to sleep. Did you ever see a dog go to sleep? It kind of walks over to the corner, circles 2 or 3 times, and then lays down, slowly shutting its eyes. It's a pretty vulnerable time, right? You're closing your eyes and you're letting all your guard down. So you have to be pretty confident in that pattern. If you're not, it can lead to a whole bunch of issues regarding separation anxiety. She'll talk about this stuff, and how to handle those issues. My strategy would be to start that kind of pattern and training and conditioning, or whatever you want to call it, to let the kids learn that it can be a safe and happy and positive experience early. I don't think as an infant in the first 2 or 3 months is a good time. I think that's a bit too early because they don't really know what's going on and they just need to be attended to and held and consoled and fed or changed. But at 6 or 7 months, there's this thing where they're kind of crying and they hear you walking down the hall and they stop crying, right? Because they know you're on the way to come and visit them and do whatever it is that you're going to do. That's kind of the period that I talk to people about developing a sleep routine. I can't go into the detail here, but what I'm trying to say in a big picture is that giving them a positive sleep routine, which involves a routine, a regular, predictable kind of experience on a nightly basis that encourages them to eventually learn how to self-settle, pays dividends down the road. Now, when I tell parents this, I say, I think it's going to pay dividends because if you look around and you say, who's a lousy sleeper? If you ask people, it probably went all the way back in infancy. And it's my contention that they probably never got a chance to learn a good, confident way to go to sleep. So they get a kid that's going to have lifelong good sleep. And as a parent, you get good sleep. And I'm going to tell you that all these things that we do, I have to drive the kid around, I put 100,000 miles in the car, trust me, I've seen that. Or I have to rock him, or if I have to take him out in the stroller. Being a tired parent is not a good parent. I will guarantee you that. So you do get the benefit of being well rested. And in addition, you happen to have other responsibilities in life, and oftentimes somebody that you are intimate with in that household. And it can really drive a wedge between you and your partner. And so I think it's really important for several reasons to develop a good sleep structure. That's as much as I'll go there because I know we have several questions.